This series was made possible thanks to the generosity of these patrons and from the likes and watch time of viewers like you. Thank you for your support.
Read the disclaimers, and please use common sense.
Okay, so apologies in advance, but this video might not be among my best productions. I'm not used to talking about TV shows. It's kind of outside of my normal wheelhouse. But I'm gonna do my best anyways. Partially because I don't have a choice but to review this as a Transformers-related content creator, but also because I really like this show and I want it to do well. So, salutations, denizens of the internet. I'm Firebyte27, and let's take a bite out of the premiere of Transformers Earthspark. Okay, so I'll just get right into it. The one thing that I'll say that bugged me about this show, in the premiere at least, was the faces. Ever since the show was first teased, we've known that the faces on the characters can be a bit hit and miss, but seeing them in motion just wasn't doing it for me, honestly. But that's down to my personal taste. And I can see if somebody else liked it a bit more, that they might prefer it more than I do, and they might not see there being any issue with it, which I can respect. However, for me, it's just not something that I liked. However, that's where the things I disliked about the show end, because, quite frankly, I liked basically everything about this new show. Especially when it comes to the humans, which is kinda rare for a Transformers fan like me. It's hard to speak for everyone, but a lot of us Transformers fans find the humans annoying. And it's for good reason. Usually they're either some useless and stupid enemy faction trying to destroy the Transformers, or they're just useless. And they end up being squishy meatbags that the Transformers have to protect on a constant basis. However, this show says not anymore, stupid, because, quite frankly, all of the humans are really good. And I'll just rat on that for a second. Human characters in the Transformers series tend to be hit or miss. For every sorry Sumdac that we have, we also have sorry Sumdac is too good. She's like the god tier example. Oh, wait, I got it. For every Miko Nakarai, there's a Kicker Joe, which for some people isn't much of a difference, but, no, Miko's actually a badass. Granted, what doesn't help the situation is that we've basically had no human characters since the Bumblebee movie in Transformers media. Like, the IDW comics have been taking place before the War on Earth and have been suffering for it. Transformers Cyberverse, I think, only ever showed the humans once in like a brief shot. The cities showed up and like there were text chats that also showed references to H.P. Lovecraft, but not actual humans that appeared beyond that. And War for Cybertron was basically taking place all in space and had no humans, though that might have been to its benefit. I think that the break that we had from human characters was needed since you're kind of getting at a point where the humans were too involved and like too obnoxious in the shows. Not to mention that a lot of their appearances in the movies were, as like I said, stupid antagonist factions that were also useless and wasted time. Need I say more? However, Earthspark corrects this because all of the characters that are human so far have been really good. There's Robbie, the older brother character, Mo, Robbie's younger sister, Dorothy or Dot, Robbie and Mo's mom, and I can't remember the dad's name off the top of my head, though. I'm probably going to flash the name up so I don't look completely stupid. Also, bite from the future here. I have finished watching the show, and I'd like to just say that Alex Malto, the dad, he actually kind of feeds into what I'm going to talk about later with the comedy. Like, when I first heard what he was going to be, I kind of assumed he would be sort of a man-child character that was obnoxious and kind of came across as annoying after he ran out of punchlines, but No, he's actually really funny, and I'm also, like, there's an entire episode that talks about tradition with him that comes later on that I'll probably talk about in another video, but it was honestly, he's honestly a really good cartoon dad, I'd say, and those are rare. And of course, there's Mandroid, who is actually intimidating and really scary.
Oh, I'm no Autobot, or one of their pathetic allies, and you're about to help me become so much more.
So, I'd say that it actually does something that Transformers has been struggling with ever since G1. Good human characters. And while I'll admit that Robbie is a little annoying, like within the first quarter of the premiere, I can honestly say that it's a relatable kind of annoying because he's a kid. He's trying to emotionally process this big move from a huge city to a rural farming community. And he's out of contact with his friends, he doesn't have any internet so he can't even email or like text them. He's in a bit of a tough spot for a kid who's going through their first move, and B, has a lot of stuff they need to process all at once. I mean, if you've gone through a move, I've gone through one, but I wasn't exactly in a position where I ended up feeling those kinds of emotions, but if you've gone through a move, you know it's stressful and you don't always adapt well. You're in a strange new place that's scary and you don't know a lot of the people there. When it comes to Mo is honestly super adorable. Again, I don't really like the facial animations. There was like this one shot where I swear she looked super ugly and like not as cute as she was supposed to look. But I'm getting back on track. I did really enjoy the human characters. And also, I think the bigger reason I like them is because they're all useful. Like, there's a scene where the mom, Dot, basically takes a laser rifle in order to shoot apart the villain's robots. Oh, right, that's right. Mandroid, the villain of the show. Mandroid is, well, it's hard to pin him down so far. I'll probably watch the rest of the episodes by the time you see this, so while it wouldn't offend me if you posted spoilers in the comments, I suggest that you don't anyways for the sake of other people. If you do, your comment will be deleted immediately, even if it's a fake spoiler, so please don't test me on this. I feel like it's one of the best signs that the people who made this show are passionate about Transformers and making a good show. I felt like that passion was there with Cyberverse, but fortunately, I don't think that the writing and the acting was there in some ways. Like, the ideas were there. Like, I especially loved how there was a Cthulhu reference in one of the episodes of Cyberverse's final season, but it didn't feel like it pushed the envelope hard enough, and the voice talent just wasn't there, I feel. Okay, byte from the future again, and what I think I was trying to say here is that while I enjoyed Transformers Cyberverse, it felt like a lot of the time it was held back by Hasbro, and that it was playing way too safe for its own good. It feels like the creators of the show were given more room to make their characters flawed and like make them interesting. And on top of that, I also really thought that the comedy was good, because, forgive me for saying this, but a lot of modern cartoons don't exactly have a comedy that works for me. I'll admit that some of them have comedy, but a lot of the times they come across as like scenes from Family Guy, where they're trying to like get you to shock laugh, and then after that it's just nothing. But I think the comedy in Earthspark works for a few reasons. First of all, it's actually wrong to call it a primarily comedy-based show. If anything, it's more of a drama show in the first episode, but again, I haven't gotten beyond episode 1. But comedy that is there is the kind of comedy that I like. it's the kind of comedy that comes from someone doing something stupid and then having a thing that would realistically happen, and it happened. Like, Thrash juggles rocks and Mo in one scene, and that immediately, it escalates to Mo getting stuck in a tree and one of the rocks hitting Thrash in the head.
Stand still, future Thrash mode! Ow! It's cool! I dig the weaponry!
There were some other bits that I did laugh at and gave me a genuine chuckle, and that's nice. I think the other thing that makes the comedy work is that underneath the comedy, even when that sort of gets old, there's still some decent family drama going on. Like, Robbie is still adjusting, and like I said, he can be a bit annoying, but what kid that has moved away from their hometown and all their friends wouldn't feel that way, especially in this modern age? If you moved out to someplace where there wasn't even an internet connection, you couldn't talk to all your old friends back home, that'd be so hard. I'll admit that that a lot of my friendships are online, but even then, I still made friends, I still have friends that I've made in the real world. And even though I can't really talk to them in person, I still talk to them online because they are important to me and I don't want to lose contact with them. And that's and on top of that, there's also the action, which is equally good. Now, action in recent Transformers shows has been a bit hit and miss as well. I feel like a lot of the action in recent Transformers shows has felt toothless, specifically in RID 2015 and Cyberverse. Sure, the stakes seem dire, but it never feels like they're dire. That is, until these shows. I think what ultimately hurt them was the lighting in those scenes. But in this show, the lighting and, the animation all helps sell the action. And, like I said earlier, the humans even get involved in it. Robbie drives around this drone that fires lasers for a few seconds. I mean, he didn't get to do it for super long, but he was still participating. And the rescue scene where they saved Thrash and Twitch from the clutches of Mandroid, that was just awesome. Seeing all these robots, these robot fodder monsters being pummeled into Robo-Pulp was just so exhilarating and really cool. The action in recent Transformers shows, I feel, also hasn't been really hitting its mark, really. Honestly, whenever I watched an action scene from Transformers RID 2015 or Transformers Cyberverse, it felt kinda toothless. I know that in Cyberverse, Cyberverse genuinely had the highest body count of any Transformers show since, I want to say, maybe Beast Wars. It's either Beast Wars or Prime, but seriously, I felt like in those shows, the action was a bit toothless. But in this show, I felt like it honestly hit way more. Though that could be down to the animation of the explosions that they had, because that was another thing that I really liked. A lot of the special effects, I guess you could call them, the explosions were more traditionally drawn in 2D animation than they were done in CGI. I think that explosions are really hard to do in 3D animation, at least when it comes to things that are also hard to animate, like cloth and water. Those have a bit more predictability in them. You could maybe program their movements. If hair is rustling in the wind, it's easy to easier to get the computer to predict the way it's going to move with maybe some RNG or something. I don't know really, but when it comes to explosions, they're harder to do because they move way more quickly and way more organically than anything else, I think. But anyways, that might have been part of it, but I don't know. There was just something about the action that felt a lot more real. And it might be because the humans actually got involved in it. Robbie and Dot and Mo, they were all getting it. They were all engaging in the fight against the Decepticons with their Autobots. Not with their Autobots, the Terrans that start calling them the Terrans, Orion. the Terrans were also really cool in the fighting department, and I noticed something interesting. When they were both created and their connection to Robbie and Mo was created, Thrash and Twitch sort of seemed to take on, I guess you could say, some elements of their respective humans. Thrash, despite being taller, is obviously connected to Dot. I mean, not Dot, Mo. He's not as developed as Robbie is, though that's only a marginal development in terms of their maturity. When it comes to Twitch, she seems to be more connected to Robbie. And I think that, at least for now, that's my headcanon reason behind why she sort of like gains her abilities as a Cybertronian a bit more quickly, is she gets a better handle on like fighting as a Cybertronian. In the first episode, she like almost immediately gains the ability to deploy her gun, and with her connection being to the older sibling Robbie, that makes a bit of sense in a weird way. Let's see here. What else was there? Oh, speaking of animation, actually, the animation is actually pretty good, with the exception of the faces, but even those aren't as bad as I'm probably making them out to be. It's just, I don't like them. And as an animator, I feel like I'm somewhat entitled to my opinion.
You mean like how you're entitled to using only 2 frames to make my mouth move?
Maya, shut up. Then again, I'm not good at animating with CGI, so I can't say for myself whether or not this is like truly terrible. But I just didn't like it. But everything else looked great. Like, all the characters move super naturally. Not supernaturally, but super, like, natural in their movements. Oh yeah, that also reminds me of character choices. The characters that appeared in the first 2 episodes, I really liked. Like, I love how much of the Decepticons that haven't joined up with Ghost, this government organization that Optimus is currently working with, along with Megatron and Delta One and Bumblebee. I like the choices for the characters that they've had on this show. They've had 2 of the Insecticons so far. Skull Smasher or Skull Cruncher. I can't remember which name they used in the episode. And also Hardtop and Swindle. Swindle I'm happy to see because I'm a big animated fan. Though he doesn't have the voice they did in animated, which, you know, I'm kind of sad about that. And he doesn't have as big a role in this episode, but him being the brother of Hardtop, who is a Cybertron character, that was extremely gratifying for me as a Unicron Trilogy fan, since it was nice to see. And I also loved how they made them 2 different kinds of buggies. Like, the Hardtop was more of a beachcomber kind of buggy, whereas Swindle was more of a Jeep kind of buggy, but it was cool. Oh, there's this one hilarious sort of like flashbacks / exposition dump that they have with the dad. Again, I can't remember his name, though. I'm probably gonna flash it up on screen and call myself stupid during the moments where I do that. When he's sort of like going over the backstory, they use, I guess it's probably flash animation in order to replicate the style of the original cartoon, and it's cute and charming. Let's see here, what else was there I liked? Oh, how could I forget? The music was also amazing. The music was sort of this, it felt like a modern take on the tropes of 80s music, I guess you could say. It's hard to call music tropes. It's more like they're trends, but in this case, there was a lot of synth, but also like a lot of guitar, and like every time they were trying to like deliver an emotion with the music, it really landed. And like the voice acting too was great, and that might also be a big part of why I like this a lot more than Cyberverse. You see here, the problem with Transformers Cyberverse and Siege, and heck, a lot of the shows that do really suffer from their voice acting cast.
We are not the Decepticons.
at least modern shows that do that. The problem with the cast is that Hasbro doesn't. They were all mostly like Hasbro-based productions, and they were mostly paying for it, so they didn't have the budget to hire union voice actors. The voice actors don't tend to be compensated in the same way that regular actors are, and they should be. They should receive residuals, and that's totally unfair for them. But with union voice actors, they have a better chance of getting those residuals, and I'm really glad that this show has them, and even more so that they're really good voice actors on top of that. And going back to the music, like, it's also just really nice music. So, overall, I like the premiere. By the time you see this video on YouTube, I'm probably going to watch the rest of the show, or the first season. I don't have Paramount Plus, but my friend Silverfoil has provided me with a link to a Google Drive with all the episodes on it, so I'll probably be watching it there. But, until I watch those next episodes, I have a few more announcements I'm going to make. Unfortunately, I know about Deathsaurus, but I can't support it. My finances have kind of fallen through on that, and I can't afford it. And also afford to get all my relatives Christmas presents, which is something I want to do, because that's just the kind of person I am. Unfortunately, the Transmetal Waspinator review that I teased last time is no longer on the table for the time being, because I couldn't get a good, main point to get out of it. And, I'm thinking that the next review I'm going to make is going to be another review of 52 Toys Beast Box line, which I haven't covered in almost 2 years, so I'm hoping that this one will turn out good. So, until next time, this is Firebite27, over and out.